Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Farming Simulator 19, and welcome back to Greenwich Valley with Seasons. Right, I get enthusiastic, what can I say? If we go here, to the west side of the map, you can see that we bought field 41 and 42. They were about 150,000 euro apiece, and our loan now sits at 775,000 euro. Ill Will, why did you do that? Well, I'll tell you why. Before I back out of this menu, though, let me show you what's going on here. So we have limed 32 and 33 already had lime on them, and then I've limed 41 and 42. As you can see, we're looking at our little 40 series with the lime spreader on it. I did hit field 42 with the subsoiler. Field 32 and 33 we did a while back, so that still hasn't reset yet. Field 42 has been subsoiled. We're going to do field 41 today. As far as FERT, I spread slurry on field 32 and 33, slurry from our dairy, and then weeding we don't need to worry about at the moment. So let's get back here, let's zoom out, and we'll get rid of that. So why did we buy these fields? Well, I got to thinking, our dairy is at the moment making us about 10,000 euro per day. And we're feeding our dairy cows from fields, field 22 and 24. And at the moment, and we've got 51 dairy cows right now, and at the moment, continuing to feed them with those two fields, I don't think will be a problem. Let me interrupt myself here just for a moment. This is what we used as our lime spreader. I am told by a person who knows about these things that you could never use that to spread lime. Spreading lime actually requires a dedicated and specific lime spreader. So I think we will address that the next time we need to spread lime. But for now, this is what we did use. So yeah, I know. It's not super realistic, not super accurate, but that's what we got. And also, you can sort of hear it. I upgraded or brought in the newest patch, I guess, of vehicle control add-on. Is that right? And when it comes in, it's got a blow-off valve sound that I don't really like. So I went online and I found a package of blow-off sounds and converted it over to an OGG and installed my own blow-off sound. So if my vehicle control add-on sounds a little different than yours, that is why. Right, back to these fields. We're making about 10,000 euro a day from the dairy, and we don't need to spend any additional money on anything. We have our mower, we have our tedder, we have our rake, we rent a baler, so it's no problem making hay bales, and then we rent a baler with a wrapper. It's no problem making silage bales, or we can use our own round bale wrapper. So bottom line is we can continue servicing the dairy, right, without spending any additional money. So the dairy is just making us 10,000 euro a day, period, right? That's just, it's not quite profit because we've got a big loan, but you know what I mean? We're good, at least on that source of revenue, consistent source of revenue. And we started with 30 cows, and 30 cows made 50, which means 66% of our cows, approximately, made baby cows, right? If that holds with 50 cows, which is what we have now, we'll get 30. So by this time next year, we'll have 80. It's not quite double, but let's say we go from 10,000 euro a day this year, right? Which is 240,000 euro per year, right? We're on 24 days, right? And 10,000 euro a day is 240,000 euro. That's a third of our loan right there. If we go from 50 cows to 80 cows, and that becomes 17,000 euro per day. You see what I'm saying? So I believe our dairy has sort of taken the pressure off in terms of revenue. And that is what made me think, you know what, let's go ahead and pull the trigger on this. Let's go ahead and buy those other two fields. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get this going. We're going to get our fast track going on field 33, planting oilseed radish. We're going to plant a cover crop. And then we're going to get our Ford T-Dub going on field 32, subsoiling it. And then we're going to get our 40 series. First, we're going to use it to haul our Abbey slurry spreader. Sorry, concentrating. We're going to use it to haul our Abbey slurry spreader on the field that has been, our new field that has been limed and subsoiled. And then if we have time, we're going to drop our slurry spreader, pick up a least 3 meter subsoiler, right? And start on this field back here in the distance, field 41. We're going to do all that if we have time. If not, we'll just get everybody working and then leave it there. So let's check one thing before we get started here. I think we want to go here. Yeah, and we are not buying anything. Fantastic, that's what we want. We want to use what's in here. And I think we have a course already laid in here. Field 33, cultivator, subsoiler. Let's get rid of those. I don't think we need either of those. We have 3 meter cultivator, so we do not have a course. So we will build one. Can do that quickly enough. Fertilizing and seeding. Course generate, field 33. Right, like so. Headlands, yes. 3 of those. We're going to start with our up and down rows. We are going to bypass islands. 3.1 meter automatic working width. It detects that. We're good to go. Generate field course. Indeed. Back. We're going to save this as field 33. 3.1 meter seed. Done. Where is our start point? It looks like way back in the corner, so we'll get rid of that, and we'll turn this on, just so we have a little reference point, right? Break is off, here we go. So yeah, it is a calculated risk. We did assume another 300,000+ euro of debt, but from the perspective of our dairy, that's 1 year of milk sales. Right, and I did build a course from the dairy down to the closest sell point. Now I know we can get different prices for milk at different sell points on any given day, but just quick and dirty, right? That we can, because making 3 trips down there every day, it takes, I'd say, probably 15 minutes, 18 minutes. And when you think about what a session is, a farm sim session, that could be, if I've got an hour to do this, that could be a third of my session is just delivering milk. So I did build a course play course to sort of speed that up. And when I'm not recording, I do tab between vehicles. I have to say I don't play quite as restrictive. I do sort of open it up a little bit. So what I can do is, we're going to say nearest waypoint, and I think it's not going to give them to us until after we start, but we do not want to use our ridge markers. Stop last pointer, next trigger. Oilseed radish. Speeds, everything's good there. Here we go. And where is it? Where's our, I'm not seeing our ridge markers. There they are. Deactivated. That's what I was looking for. Fantastic. So we'll let this roll for a minute. Just confirm everything is working as intended. Seems to be. So yeah, I will send the 40 series down to the dairy. And while that is down at the dairy, I will tab into another vehicle and do some other things. Just to sort of say, sir. Oh, no, it's okay. It's course play. For some reason, I thought we were on a hired worker, and it was just randomly stopping and turning around. Oh, farm sim. I love you. All right. So over here. And now these 2 new fields that we bought are going to get winter canola. Next episode, we'll probably be doing that. But I figured since we've had, let me see if I can remember all this right. We had an oilseed crop in here. We had canola. We're planting oilseed radish as our cover crop for the winter. And then next spring, we will put, I don't know, soybeans in here maybe, wheat, something that grows well after an oilseed crop. On the other side, because those fields are coming off of fallow, we can put really anything we want into them. And I'm going to put canola in them. I'm going to put canola in them because it's a good money crop. And we're going to have 4 fields over here now. And I want to alternate them between money crops. So that's going to be soybean and canola as well as we can. And we'll mix in cover crops or wheat as we need to. But hopefully we won't need to too often. And we can always have something profitable in these 4 fields. That is the plan. Right. This is field 32. So we're going to go here. Course generate. We want to do field work. Course generate. Field 32. Everything is still set. 3 passes clockwise bypass islands. Good. That sets automatically. Generate a course. Come back here. And we're going to say F32 4-meter subsoiler. Beautiful. Now, where's our start point? It is back in the corner. Sort of back in the corner. Okay. Get rid of that. Brake is off. And we'll drive around our grass verge here. Yeah, I like that. I like that blow-off sound much better than the one that comes in the mod. Carefully through the bushes here, through the trees, down the grass verge. And there is also a setting where you can, now it says sound pitch, but I think that's only the sound of the transmission and the turbo, because these mods all, well, base game tractors and then mod tractors all come with their own sound. So I don't think it is the sound for the whole mod. And if you have the vehicle control add-on, you know that the sound of the blow-off valve does not get any quieter as you zoom out. So you can zoom out, you know, all the way out here. You can't hear the sound of the tractor anymore, but you can still clearly hear the sound of the blow-off valve. So I think that sound pitch is intended to quiet that down a little bit. And actually, let's go out here. I can show it to you. It is right here. Yeah, sound pitch at maximum RPM. There's that. But we're actually going to go in here, and we're going to turn this off. We're going to turn the transmission off temporarily. It seems to work better on course play with no transmission running. So we're going to start at first waypoint. We're going to activate that. Drive course. Indeed. And our speed limits are good. For field work, they certainly are. Beautiful. That is two tractors operating. So we're going to go hop in our 40 series. Now we're going to bring it. Oh, we already brought it back around. Fantastic. We're going to hop in here. We're going to drop our fertilizer spreader that today is acting as a lime spreader. We're going to grab our Abbey slurry sprayer. We're going to go hit that field. If we get it done in time, as I said, we'll come back and grab that least 3-meter subsoiler and get that going as well. If we run out of time, we'll just call it wherever we are when we're done. Let's go back here. Lower that. Drop it. And here we go. You know, another reason I decided to go ahead and jack the loan a little bit on this map is we have no loan on Shamrock Valley. So if we're splitting the difference a little bit and playing, you know, financially very realistically on Shamrock Valley, speaking of realistic, you think this 40 series could tow this thing? Look at that. That is a monster. Oh well. We're playing very realistically financially on Shamrock Valley. Does that give us a little bit of room to play a little bit more? I wouldn't say that it's unrealistic, but it's certainly more aggressive, right? To take out a loan that big, that's a more aggressive financial play. But it takes money to make money. Or bet big, win big, as the poet says. So that's where we're at. I have not turned traffic back on. I need to do that. In fact, I guess I could do that right now. Yeah, let's do that right now. So we'll stop right here. We'll set the brake. And we want, is it here? Yeah, same menu. Turn the traffic back on. Hop back out here. There we go. And that'll liven things up a little bit. Cruise control looks good. So let's get that going. And we are spraying. Fantastic. This field, hopefully it'll go relatively quickly. We're at 15 minutes. If we could get this field done in, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, then we can run over and grab that little subsoiler. And we won't finish this field on camera, but we can at least kind of take a chunk out of it. All right. So go right over here, like so. And yeah, I think that makes sense. We'll go to over here now and then do another length. And that way we've got this little side bit sort of cut in to start with. Now, here's a question. I tend to, like off camera, after I've applied this slurry on this field, I'll come back and hit it with a cultivator just to get it folded in, and then I'll bring in our seeder, right? I feel like, I don't know, it could just be my OCD, but I feel like running a seeder, which is a somewhat sophisticated piece of equipment, you know, compared to something like a subsoiler. Subsoiler is just metal bars that drag through the soil, but a seeder, a planter there's some technology in there. And the idea of running it over poo, I don't know. It just seems, you know, seems like that's not necessarily something you want sort of gumming up the works, as it were. So I will hit this field with a cultivator to get this slurry folded in. And I guess that's sort of my rationalization for driving all over the field, right? You saw as we just did, I'm not super mindful of compaction. And I know a cultivator and a subsoiler, you know, as far as what they do to sort of counter compaction and hard pan and various things. I've been reading, I've been studying, so I know it's that there are some things that you can do to that there are times when it's okay to drive on a field because you're going to be applying an evolution to that field that will sort of undo any compaction caused by you driving over it. And then there are other times when the field is, for all intents and purposes, prepped and ready to receive seed, that you absolutely would not want to drive over it other than what is absolutely required. But the idea of just like driving across the middle of the field as we just did, you know, you would try to avoid that. So I am going to fold this slurry in with a cultivator and then bring the seeder over. I may do that. Yeah, let's do that on camera. Let's do that on camera. Next episode, we will be over here with the JCB and the Sulky, getting our winter canola planted in these two fields. But yeah, man, it just seemed like, I don't know. I'm always trying to strike the balance. I want to play realistically, you know that, but I want to have some fun too. And I guess the best combination of those is to find a way to have fun playing realistically. And I've grown out of, you know, early days for me in Farm Sim. Of course, I wanted Zarians and Smart Tracks and, you know what I mean? The absolute biggest Challenger 800 horsepower tractor. I've grown out of that. But there is still something fun about expanding and growing and a need for bigger equipment. We're on 3 and 4 meter equipment right now. And even though the fields aren't getting drastically bigger, at some point we will begin to get into a time crunch where it will be more and more difficult to get all of our fields done when they need to be done with 3 and 4 meter equipment. And 6 meter equipment will start making more sense. Possibly 9 meter equipment. You know, so it's those sorts of challenges that I'm interested in, where the game is we're still trying to play realistically, but we're having some fun too, and we're playing with new toys, and who doesn't like that? Right. So now I'm gonna go around here. I think that was save game. Maybe it was just a big micro stutter right there. Right. Back down this way. Time 20 minutes. Yeah, I think so. We may not get a lot done, but I think we'll at least be able to go over and pick up that 3 meter subsoiler and come back over to this field and put it on course play. And then I'm going to, as soon as I'm done recording, I'm just going to let that run off camera. Very little intervention required from me. I can basically just monitor those 3 tractors and make sure everything is happening the way it's intended to. So yeah, by this time next year, I hope to have between 80 and 100 cows. And I think hopefully we'll be making like 20,000, 25,000 euro per day from milk sales. And that's getting to be quite a bit of money, because when we get to 40,000 euro a day, that's €1 million per year from milk sales. And that is, you know what I mean? That's not a small amount of money. That would, I mean, we, with our current loan of 775, we'd be able to pay off our current loan in less than a year. You know, nothing wrong with that. So let me do one more headland down here just so we've got enough room to make some big sweeping turns. And we'll go from there. Now, the other thing that's very cool, both on this map and on Shamrock Valley, is we do not have the temptation of silage. We do not have that moral hazard tempting us, teasing us. It's just not an option. We could build our own BGA for €250,000, but whether we did it here or on Shamrock Valley, we'd have to take out a loan to do it. Either increase the loan on this map or take out a loan, period, on Shamrock Valley. I don't want to do that. And I think it did just update, but I also know that BGA mod, as much as I love it, it seems problematic. And so I'm mindful of that as well, that we can't necessarily solve all of our problems. I think we can solve some of our problems, but we're gonna cause some problems as well. So I don't want to bring that BGA into either of these maps. We own the BGA on Shamrock Valley, but I believe it pays €50 per 1,000 liters of silage, which is just it. I mean, that's like giving us nothing. That is just a heartbreak. It is probably realistic, but it is a very, very low payout for silage. I mean, period. But definitely in the context of making 10x that, right? Because for the longest time, and I guess depending on how you have your pricing set, even in base game FS19, silage has always been the ripcord. If things are grim, just plant yourself some corn and you can fix it up in one harvest. But we're not going to do that. So not having that temptation, not having that out, I feel like we have to really kind of focus a little bit more and really kind of make our choices a little bit better. But that was definitely, seeing the revenue coming in from dairy certainly has me optimistic about our ability to make money on this farm. And, you know, I don't want to talk about Shamrock Valley too much while we're on Greenwich Valley. Talk about Greenwich Valley while we're on Greenwich Valley, but I also think Shamrock Valley, it may be time to open the dairy there as well, because we've got a solid wool operation going, and I think we can bring in dairy and not have it really complicate our lives too much. Now on this map, I think opening, it would be just the opposite. We have the dairy up and running, so we would be opening the wool operation. Man, I don't like pigs. I mean, just personally, I'm not too crazy about the idea of farming pigs. I think it's, you know, I like bacon, but pigs are kind of gross. They really are. I know they're cute, they're smart, and they, whatever, but I think they're kind of disgusting. Although, bacon, nothing wrong with bacon. But that's one problem that I have with them, just personally. And then practically, in Farm Sim, I can't make money from pigs. I've never been able to. What they are good for, I guess, is making manure and making slurry, but we don't have any shortage of that right now. I mean, even after we filled this tank twice, we still have, I want to say, 200,000 liters of slurry. We've got plenty. We have no shortage of slurry or hard manure. So we don't need pigs for that, which means we don't really need pigs at all, right? Can't make money from them. And we don't need their byproducts. So, you know what I mean? Pigs are sort of out. Don't need them. And that means if we got anything else going, it would either be sheep or horses, maybe. I don't know. We when was the last time we did horses? Holzer map we did horses, and I think we made like €500,000. Yeah, we bought 10 horses for like €5,000 a piece. We used the horse helper mod. We basically just gave them hay and oats and straw for bedding, right? And then a year or two later, we sold them for €500,000. I don't know. Doesn't feel right. Feels like it feels like silage. It feels like cheating a little bit. So all that leaves for this map would be sheep, right? And we could, I guess. I mean, again, we'd have to jack the loan to buy them. I don't know. You know what? Let's just leave it as is. Let's just leave it as is. We will continue growing the dairy on this map, and we will open the dairy on Shamrock Valley. But other than that, we'll call it good the way it is and just continue to grow. You know, something else about buying these two fields is I sold the canola that we got from field 32 and 33, and we got about €60,000 for it. Now, we didn't bank it and wait for a high demand price. We just sold it straight away. And maybe we didn't get the best price for it, but we got about €60,000. And we'll get €60,000 from milk in 6 days, 6 game days. So I guess the other reason I bought these two fields is I want to feel like our arable operation actually has some purpose and is making some money to not compete with, but you know what I mean? If the dairy is making all that money, then we should just convert 32 and 33 to grass fields and keep buying cows. And I don't necessarily want to do that. I don't want to have just dairy. And I mean, when you think about the beginning of this map, the beginning of this save game, we tried to sell this property, the farm that's on the west side of the map. We tried to sell it, but we couldn't sell it because it had a placed object on it. And if we sold that placed object, we would have had a big scar on the map. And if we ever bought this property again, we would have to try to fit something in there and, you know, the placeables and terrain forming and everything else. So we ended up just keeping this west farm. But in reality, all we wanted to do on this map was have the dairy. So this side of the map has been, in a way, a bit of a compromise. But we'll try to make some money with it, and we'll try to compete with the dairy. Yeah, we'll just go with that term. It's not exactly the right word, but it'll do. We'll try to make revenue with the west farm. We'll try to make revenue with the west farm that is consistent, commensurate with the dairy on the east side. Right. Time, 28 minutes. Yeah. Let's go pick up our subsoiler with the 40 series here. We'll bring it back over. We'll put it on our course plane. We'll call it. And while we're over there, I suppose we can see how the JCB and the T-Dub are doing. I think they're both doing pretty good. Yeah, T-Dub certainly is. I can see some progress there. Right. So we'll turn that off. Drive over here. This is kind of a big field. It is. It's certainly a big field when you think about using 3 and 4 meter equipment. And, you know, that's another possibility. I was mentioning earlier that as we get more and more fields, we'll get into a time crunch and we'll need to finish those fields more quickly, right, to get all of them done, because we want to stay with 3 tractors, no more than that. So if we want to get all those fields done before the weather changes or the season changes or the planting season ends or whatever the deadline may be, if we want to get those fields ready in time, and we have too many of them to get them done with 3 and 4 meter equipment in a timely manner, we're tempted to go to bigger equipment. But I don't know. I suppose we could make a commitment to hold ourselves to nothing bigger than 4 meter. That would certainly be a different kind of challenge. I'm up for it. We can agree to that. All right, so we'll get this backed up. Where is that thing? I think, yeah, it's over by the driveway. Over in our regular place where we keep cultivators and subsoilers, is it not? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, you hear when we're zoomed out like this, the only sound of the tractor that you get is the blow-off valve. That is, well, I'll tell you what. We can go right here. We can go right here. Let's see if we can... 80 is as low as you can go. Okay. Well, let's see if 80 sounds any different. So I have not changed the distance from the tractor. So let's see if it's any quieter heading down the driveway. Ready? Here we go. Nope. It sounds about exactly the same to me. You know, when I first got the game, I noticed that some of the sounds were a little bit off as far as, you know, distance and how loud things were, and some of the tractors seemed a little bit too loud. And I guess other people felt the same way, because within just a few days of the game being released, I found we're in the UK. Yep, I pulled out on the wrong side of the road. Within just a few days of the game being released, I found a thread saying, you know, this is where you edit the XML to have the different volumes. I'm going to do field work for different distances from the tractor, and I was able to back that down. But I feel like the vehicle control add-on sort of overwrites that. All right, so we want field 42. We want, I'm going to say, 4 headland passes, because this thing's pretty narrow. We want to start working on lengths. We want to, there are no islands, so we don't need to worry about island bypass. We've got that. Generate a course. Okay, back here, this is field 42. So we'll call this field 42 3-meter sub. Right, and where is our marker? We sit back in the far corner. Yeah, it seems about right. So we'll get over on the grass verge. Yeah, I mean, it makes a little bit more sense when you're in close like this, that the sound of the engine and the sound of the BOV are like almost the same volume. But when you're zoomed out, and that's all you can hear, it's a little off-putting. Not a big deal. Right. Go right up here. We'll get turned around. This 3-meter requires 90 horsepower, and the 40 series is 95 horsepower. So it's going to be a long afternoon for this farmer. This field with a 3-meter subsoiler, but you know what? It's that farm life. Right, come back here. First waypoint. Stop when we're done. Everything's good. Speeds are good. We'll back this down a little bit. Back it down like so. There we go. It's activated. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Pivot around here. Where's the sun? Right over here. And on that note, we'll call it. There you go, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 19. This is Greenwich Valley with Seasons, and we'll see you next time. Take care now.